Hi everyone, my name is Steph. This is the Novelty Corner and welcome to another weekend reading vlog. It's the morning. Normally my hair only looks like this when I'm vlogging at nighttime, but it's been a weekend so far. So it is Saturday, it is the last weekend in March. However, this video is going to be going up on my channel in the middle of April. I'm having a very, very slow start to this Saturday. I won't lie, I'm just exhausted. A little bit of context. I'm going into the last week of term 1 for work. I also went to a charity game for the Good Friday appeal between the Melbourne Mustangs and the Melbourne Ice. So I was at a hockey game last night. I didn't get home until 11:15. I also have a book event later today. I am actually theoretically doing things this weekend. I was supposed to film my wrap up this morning and I was supposed to film my Love in the Night TBR this morning. That's happening tomorrow. I do have a video to edit that was supposed to go up last week, but obviously didn't because I just did not have the capacity to edit last week after work. So that also has to be done this weekend, and that will go up next week, which is the last week of March, first week of April. If you're playing along and trying to keep track of dates, hello, this is my April. I did today get my review copies of Charming Puckboy, and I'm super excited about that. And I thought, you know what? It comes out on April 16th. Take a beat. This weekend, we're gonna have a weekend reading vlog. You're going to see the things that I bring home from the book signing. I'm gonna read a couple of things. I'm just gonna try and chill, because if you can't tell, I'm in deep need of some regulation time. And then I'll sit on this footage until I need to edit it for the middle of April. I'm going to just take a minute. I'm going to catch up on some YouTube. I'm gonna eat some food and get myself ready for this book event. Won't lie, probably wouldn't be going if I didn't have my pre-orders in. That said, they do have an excellent VIP bag, which is what I paid for. I know there are 4 books in this VIP bag and I haven't read any of them. 2 of them are authors that I haven't read, but I'm really curious about their books. I've seen them around and I'm really curious about them. One is an author I have read before and is a First Nations author who writes in the contemporary fiction, contemporary romantic fiction space. And the other is a paranormal romance, which I can read during Love in the Night. So I do want to go get my bag and I do want to get my Louisa Masters books. But first, I need to chill. All right, so I'm going to be heading out soon. Have I accomplished anything today? Absolutely not. It is like 20 to 1 and it's wet and miserable outside. I'm home, I'm exhausted. I did not film because I'm exhausted and dying from humidity. All I want to do is curl up on the couch and read. Full confession, I did come home, dropped all of this off and went to the supermarket to get things. And when I finish here, I'm going to go up the street and get food, even though it's only 3:30. But I will have a very early dinner and crash out on the couch. That's where I am. I did go to the signing. I just went and saw Louisa Masters. I didn't buy anything except for what I had pre-ordered last year and what I brought with me. I had my pre-order from Louisa, who honestly is one of, I think I said this is one of my favorite people to visit. She's so nice. So I have another copy of Couture, which I already have a copy of because I got it through Patreon. And I ordered this before I realized that I get paper copies through Patreon, but I figure I'm going to give this to a friend. And then I finally got the final book in the Ghostly Guardian series because I forgot to get this the last time I saw her at an event. I have all the other books, so she has signed that to me. She did give me some not safe for work stickers because she's the best. There was also the VIP bag, which this is massive and full. I have not looked through it. The only thing that I know is in here, aside from the program which I threw in the bag and my lanyard, is Louisa Masters had a little novella that was included, so she told me that it was in there so that she could sign it for me. This will possibly be read this weekend. So I'm just going to pull things out as I find them. There is a tote bag from the first chapter, which is an independent romance bookstore in South Australia. There is the program and there is my lanyard. Should we do books first? Let's do books first. There is The Girl and the Ghost by Ebony McKenna. Power Moves by Lisa Ronald, which I've heard about but I haven't read. This was published by Allen and Unwin, who I do a lot of work with. His Lost Lycan Luna. This is by Jessica Hall. And The Paradise Pact by Anita Heiss. This is her new book. I don't know if it's must come out next week. There is a sample from Jennifer Rains, Finding Cleo. So many books, so little time. Bookmark, Penguin bookmark. Oh, a promo postcard from Joanne Austen Brown. Has a little heart gemstone on it, which will be helpful for something at school. There is a Little Love bookmark discount. Another one for In My Romance Era from Shadow Kiss Books. And then a flyer from them. An art print from Hannah Penfold. Promo card for Miles Allen. A door hanger from Catherine Hine. Promo stuff from Boys from the Bookshelf. Okay, an envelope from Mia K. Rose. 3 art prints. These are nice. Look at that. That's cool. Ooh, I like this. Although it's probably very punny in a not safe for work way. They are antibacterial wipes. Funny thing, I literally just bought a packet of these for work. Something that's wrapped. Oh, okay, a bookmark and a keychain from Sarah Biggerstaff. Fluffy socks. So these are Eve Blakely, Contemporary Small Town Romance. We know I like that. There is a little annotating kit. I like these. These are my colors, friends. This is from Amanda Hewitt, who wrote The Last Resort. When the holiday romance ends, the real business begins. And there is a pen and a hello. Ooh, we know I never say no to annotating supplies. Oh, this is cute. Okay, so this is from Juanita Keys, and it's a tiny little charm which I can put on my bag. Pen from Sandra Carmel. This is a pen. Can't wear it to work though. They're conversation hearts, but they're romance not safe for work conversation hearts. I love that. That is a nice pen. This is why I don't need to buy anything, because literally I've been given a bunch of stuff. There is a candle, if I can open the bag. So from AJ Enchanted & Co. Oh, there's also a 15% off code. There is no such thing as too many books. I don't know what that smells like. It's a smell that you would expect to find in somebody's library. I am not good with scents unless they are floral or mint scented. This is from Everly Bain. Secret Wish Alphabet Date Cards Starter Pack. This pack contains 5 randomized collectible cards inspired by moments from the Secret Wish series. Each pack is tied with red string, a small nod to the legend of the red thread of fate, the invisible thread that connects people who are meant to meet. There's a promo thing and a trading thing. And these are the cards. I'm going to try and untie you rather than cut you because I feel like that would be bad luck. Oh, so they're literally alphabet cards with date ideas. So I have kayak, tide pool exploring, which I would probably do, Xbox Day, possibly would do, but I am very not coordinated. I would not be the one playing the Xbox. Night market I would do, and book. I think we found my trademark. That is some very clever marketing. Oh, there is a heart treat fan. Can I put it back together though, is the question. How many teachers does it take to put a fan back together? A lanyard from the Forbidden Bookshop. All right, there is a little promo card for Layla Moon, including a free book, an I Read Romance pin. I get one of these every year. There is lip balm, book, boyfriend, and then some more free pens. We like free pens. I take free pens into my office and I leave them there so people don't take my pens. Samara Dark, Juanita Keys, and Kerry Arthur. That's a nice pen. That is everything from A Romantic Rendezvous 2026. Excuse me while I pass out on the couch for like half an hour. I have acquired food, mini schnitzel burger, like it's tiny. My nuggets and chips. Don't judge me, I'm hungry and I can't be bothered cooking. So I decided just to read Out of Office by Louisa Masters straight away because why not? It's only 60 pages long, little tiny novella, and this is entirely from Duncan's perspective. It is an contemporary romance. It's set in Australia. Duncan is a resource manager. Hell if I know what that means. Anyway, he is basically recruited to come and supervise a project that is royally over budget because the previous resource manager has totally not done his job. And so Duncan is called in and he's doing a really good job, except for one of the regional managers who just avoids all of his calls. Everything. Emails, contact, whatever. He avoids him. His name is Paul. He lives in Western Australia, which is the other side of the country. And so Duncan decides that he is just going to make sure that the man actually listens to him because he understands that Paul was screwed over by the previous person in charge. He just wants an opportunity to say, hey, I've got a plan. Let's work on this together. And so he flies out to Perth and basically make sure that he has to stay and listen. And it does. And then they have a romance and it's delightful. Alright, so I am 36% of the way through Charming Puckboy, so I suppose I should probably do some kind of update or else it'll be the end of the book before I talk about it. Excellent, why am I getting glare off glasses? The light is over there. If I sit back it'll work. No, it's coming off the camera. Inconvenient. So, Charming Puckboys, final Puckboys book, book 10 in the series. It is following Lockie, who is the third and final keep of the Kiki brothers, who is also the youngest member of the Queer Collective. He is only 21 and he has been playing professionally for 2 years. And it is the summer. He is back in his hometown for the summer and the book opens with him basically being found by a pregnant cat who is kind of the embodiment of Lockie. Because basically animals flock to Lockie like a Disney princess, and he takes the cat to the local shelter which is a place that he volunteered at as a kid, and the guy who works there, Sam, is the one who gave him the nickname Disney Princess, because animals just seem to find Lockie. Lockie has had a crush on Sam for a number of years, so this is an age gap story. But obviously Lockie is now an adult, he has changed a lot, and Sam is attracted to him, and there's a few bits and pieces that happen, including a very funny scene where the Queer Collective is in town for a Pride charity race that Sam is organising, and they come fully decked out in neon magenta tutus, with Ezra bringing the Stanley Cup and chasing Lockie around with it. And amidst all of this, Sam has no idea who any of these people are, aside from the fact that he knew Lockie when Lockie was growing up. He has no idea about hockey or what the Stanley Cup is. And then my favourite scene so far is very much after this marathon. The rest of the collective decide to steal the cup from Ezra, plus George, but George is in on it. George is the keeper of the supervisor of the Stanley Cup. They decide to steal it while Ezra is distracted at a bar with Anton, and take the cup to the golf course and ransom it back to him, except then Sam gets a phone call because zombie squirrels have stolen the cup. Not really, but there are squirrels all over the cup. That entire scene has just brought me so much joy, given how utterly exhausted I've been. And I was just messaging someone before going, I really need to watch the latest episode of The Pit, which is episode 12, but all day I have seen nothing but Pit spoilers in my feed, and honestly I don't think I can take that emotional stress at this point in time. I need some joyous backlog before I dive into that, and that entire scene just made my day. We've also just had a scene of a bunch of puppies that have been dropped off at the shelter, and so Lockie has literally volunteered and sat out the back cuddling them. I mean, again, that would be the serotonin boost that I need at the moment. So I'm going to keep reading, because Sam and Lockie have started hooking up. There's been a bit of back and forth around all of that, but honestly, joy. Joy. This book is bringing me joy. Charming Puckboy was delightful. Everything that I needed. Everything that I needed, I just probably doesn't seem like it. But my nervous system is slightly more regulated than it was before, because I just smiled and laughed and got teary. So I know I didn't update in between the previous update and this one, but I really honestly just kind of didn't want to stop reading. I just wanted to stay in the world with the characters. The biggest conflict in Lockie and Sam's relationship is the fact that Lockie plays in St. Louis, and he is basically on a 7-year contract. That's what they're trying to get him to sign. And if he doesn't sign that contract, it has implications for his career. Even though he wants to be back in Colorado, he wants to be playing there with his brother, there are implications if he doesn't take this deal. And that puts his relationship with Sam in a really precarious position, because Sam is based in Colorado. The second half of this book is them making a go of a long distance relationship, realizing that it isn't working for one another, but also realizing that they really do want to make this work, and they've got to figure out a way for it to happen, and that there is going to have to be a sacrifice. And in this case, it's a sacrifice on Sam's part, in that he comes to the realization, actually, if I stay here in Colorado, I am going to be miserable. Like, there are some really cool other elements in there where Sam unintentionally becomes a bit of an animal influencer because he works at an animal shelter and he volunteers helping rescue animals. He starts creating content about what to do if, you know, you come across an injured animal. And so he has his own little bit of fame, which is kind of funny because he's totally not expecting it. And it was just really nice. And the entire conclusion to the series, and particularly with regards to the Queer Collective and the fact that a lot of the characters are retiring from playing sport and things like that, the resolution to that was really nice. And I highly doubt it's the last time we'll ever see any of these characters, but for what it was worth, like the wrap up was lovely. So that's it for tonight. I am going to try and do all my filming notes so I can film tomorrow morning, because I obviously didn't do that this morning, and then I'm going to have a serious ton of editing to do tomorrow. Really glad that I pre-filmed and edited and uploaded all of my Kidlit Joy content, because that's basically, I've got 2 weeks of content already uploaded and scheduled, so I don't have to worry about, there's only one video that I have to edit for that, I think, unless I already did it. I'll double check, and that one will be the one that takes me the least amount of time to do anything. Otherwise, tomorrow I will probably be trying to read, I ummed and ahed about what I was going to read, but I think I'm going to try and get to Swordheart by Kingfisher, because I've got the audiobook for it, so I might immersive read that for a little bit. And in the meantime, while I do my notes, I'm going to be putting on the next book in the Sparrow Falls series, which is Chasing Shelter, because I've got it out on Libby, so I might as well start it. Hi, ignore both the washing machine and the mess behind me. It is Sunday. I have been to the supermarket to grab a couple of things that I forgot to get yesterday. I have filmed. I'm about to start editing just so it's all done, and then I'll sort out the rest of my life and start reading Swordheart. But anyway, just trying to get through a Sunday really. All right, it took me a ridiculously long time to edit the weekly book steep, so that's embarrassing. Some of my Amazon order has arrived. I'm still waiting on a few more books for things for the classroom, so they should hopefully be here later today. But the first lot is here, so I thought I would open it. Actually, some of these are Easter presents, amongst other things. This is my break before I continue to edit the other videos for this week, so that what happened last week where I didn't upload anything doesn't happen. Why can't things be easy to open? This is one of the Easter presents, fluffy Easter tail, Peter Rabbit. Although I have to remember who I ordered this for, whether it was for my niece or my cousin's youngest. I have to wait for the other books to get here to work that out. Randomly, I have some fiber tape. This is from some book covering stuff I want to do eventually. I also have some little gems. These are for a classroom reward thing. And then this children's cookbook from DK, because my class is obsessed with this book. Someone last school year, borrowed this out from the library, or asked me to borrow it out from the library, so it was in our classroom. And so I've had it in my classroom. They hid it from me at the end of last year, so I didn't see it when I was tidying everything up, because normally I'm really good about returning the library books, because the library is literally outside my classroom door. They hid it. Some of my kids found it, and now pretty much every other day someone's asking for us to photocopy a recipe from inside the book, which is amazing that they want to take the recipes home and cook with them. We've had to photocopy the sushi rolls about 10 times already this term. So now we have our own copy of the cookbook. And I really kind of wish that there were a few more, because this is the perfect cookbook for kids. So even when my kids drive me bananas, I do love them because they're always very keen. And I'm a pushover and I bought the book. Breakfast, brunch, I don't know. It's after lunch, so that probably is what counts. Hi, so I can't quite work out how far I am into, actually no, I can figure that out. I was going to say I can't figure out how far I'm into it because Audible is not showing me the percentage read, but we can work that out with the book. I haven't been immersive reading it as much as audiobook reading it because I had other things to do while I was doing that. So you would have seen me make the protein bars, which I will, if I remember, I will leave a link to it down below. It's by Dr. Emily Prepper, who is a nutritionist. Yes, nutritionist. Anyway, they're delicious and I make them like every couple of weeks. Oh, okay. So I'm a little bit over halfway through Swordheart and I'm really enjoying it. Am I still chaotic? Yes. This weekend, man. Can't wait to be done with this upcoming week and then I can just stop. That's my plan. So Swordheart, it is by Kingfisher. It is about Hala, who is a widow, and after her husband died, his great uncle took her in, and so she basically helped keep the house tidy, etc. And he has died before the start of this book, and his relatives have come in and are basically trying to marry Hala off to one of the sons, which she doesn't want to do. And so she ends up being locked in a room, and while she's in there she contemplates unaliving herself because that's the only way that she can see getting out of this, because she wants her inheritance to go to her nieces on the other, like her side of the family. The only way that she sees that will happen is if she dies, because it's actually been written that her possessions go to her nieces. And the only thing that is in this room is a sword and a scabbard on the wall. And so she pulls it off, and there's this whole inner monologue about, you know, how she's going to do it. And she finally pulls the sword out of the scabbard, and a man turns up in her room. And his name is Sarkis, and he is a servant of the sword. And basically whoever is in possession of the sword, he is bound to protect. And so he is very appalled by the fact that she is about to kill herself. And when he finds out that her relatives have locked her in and her life is in danger, he helps her escape. And then they end up on a road trip all the way to the Temple of the White Rat, which You know how much I love the Temple of the White Rat, so forth. So they've been there and now they're on their way back to try and sort out her inheritance and whatever, all the stuff that's going on, with a servant of the White Rat coming along with her, a lawyer. Kingfisher is just excellent at writing fantasy romance road trip stories. Like there is a romance brewing or simmering between Hala and Sarkis, but there's also the hilarity and absurdity of the entire situation. And Hala is quite an intelligent woman, which I love, but she also knows how to play to her audience. And so there are these times where she just goes off on the most random of, like, she loves to ask questions, but she'll go off on the most random of randomest of conversational paths where she's just constantly asking these questions, and people around her are like, oh my god, what the hell is going on? What is this woman on, right? And it takes Sarkis a little while to figure out that she has worked out that if people underestimate her, they tend to dismiss her as being a threat or as being a problem in that situation. And so she constantly does it, and every time it is so funny. But yes, I'm looking forward to continuing it. I need a shower, I need dinner, I need to do a whole bunch of other things. I need to write a bunch of reviews, but that'll be done after the book. So how much longer do I have in terms of reading? So I have just under 2 hours worth of reading time at the speed that I'm listening to, and I will finish that tonight. I'm pretty pleased. Like, this is fun. Good book for a Sunday. All right, I haven't had dinner yet, but the other box is here, so let's open it. So the first two books, there are 2 copies of There's a Little Chick in Your Book by Tom Fletcher. These are Easter presents. And then we're going on an egg hunt by Martha Mumford, which is another Easter present. There is a puzzle because my class is obsessed with puzzles, and hopefully 200 pieces lasts them longer than a day. So the rest are non-fiction books. There is this one in the What's That series, Australian Insects. I said I was getting this one because I've got a child who is obsessed with insects, so I will be reading that before I take it into school. And then 2 DK books. These are giant and beautiful. So there is The Mysteries of the Universe, look, and an anthology of remarkable bugs. Again, insect obsessed children. And these have the gilded edges. I will not be taking these in before the end of term, I don't think. And then they will have probably a special spot on display so that we don't destroy them quickly. But they are stunning. And I'm a sucker for my kids and their interests. So I am finished Swordheart. By the way, look how gorgeous this is. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm going to put the dust jacket back on now though. And I really enjoyed this book, and it was not really a surprise to me because I have loved everything in the world of the White Rat so far. So I think I'm now caught up on stories set in this world, at least until Daggerbound comes out later this year. So I think this was the last thing that I had on my list to read, and no notes, enjoyed it. Hala and Sarkis's relationship is great. It is open door, but it's not very descriptive. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And we got a reveal about why Sarkis became a servant of the sword. We also get the setup for Daggerbound, which was the thing I was curious about. There is double crossing. Hala does get back her inheritance, and then her cousin and her aunt also, again, try to get back at her. I think Zael is one of my favorite characters in the book. They are the priest of the White Rat who comes to help with all of the inheritance stuff for Hala, but they are a very, very strong presence for half of this book, and they are fabulous. It was great fun, and I'm glad that I have finally read it. So yay, I can tick this book off my list, and now I cannot wait for Daggerbound. Do you think I will get approved for the ARC? That is what I want to know. Probably not, because it's being published by, yeah, Tor. So, the publisher that never approves me for anything. Cue dramatic sigh. Regardless, I will be reading it when it comes out because this was fun. I want to know what happens next, and give me all the books set in the world of the White Rat. So even though I say I don't read fantasy romance, the truth is I don't read romantasy. I don't like romantasy. I like fantasy romance, even though I don't like fantasy anymore. It's not that I don't like fantasy. See, it's still hyper. But I don't reach for fantasy. But I will read fantasy romance, especially if it's written by Kingfisher, because she knows how to write. And now I can talk to my friend about this book. I'm not sure if she's read it though. She's had a lot going on. So when she's read it, we can discuss it. And that is the end of this reading vlog, because I still haven't written my Instagram reviews. I should write at least 2 tonight and then sleep. And we'll see how I go. So thanks for joining me on this very random vlog for 2 very anticipated books. One an anticipated release, the other just an anticipated read that I've been meaning to get to for ages. If you've read either of these books, feel free to chat to me about them down in the comments, or feel free to leave either a hockey puck or a sword emoji to let me know that you're here. I hope that wherever you're in the world you're staying safe and healthy, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.